Good morning. Oh my gosh, here we are, launch day of this book right here, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. You know, ladies, what I love most about this book is that it really, like, as I'm reading everybody's story, I'm really seeing the passion in you, which brings passion back to me. The purpose, like why we're here on this planet doing whatever it is that we're doing. And then all the possibilities that are out there for us. You know, every single one of us has the ability to have all these, the passion, purpose, and possibilities. But sometimes it takes going through some crap in order for us to get there, right? And I think every single one of us has gone through some sort of crap at some sometime in our lives. But how do we decide or see it as that stuff that we went through, that it's gotten us to where we are today? And that's what you all share in your stories here in this book, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. My name is Lynda Sunshine West, and I'm the founder at Action Takers Publishing. Our mission is to empower 5 million women and men to share their stories with the world to make a greater impact on the planet. And these are some of the ladies who are in this book, again, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. You can get your copy of the book by going to actiontakerspublishing.com/passion. Head on over there, get your copy of the book. Today is the official launch day. What is today? September 30th of 2025. And while you're over there at the website, you'll also see a button to click in order to get free gifts from our authors. So go take advantage of them, get their free gifts. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room. We're going to have everybody introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their chapters. So we're going to start with Cathy Dirksen. She's the one who, you know, as like heading up, she curated this book, brought everybody together to make it happen. So Cathy, I'm going to put you on the spotlight and I want you to, you know, introduce yourself and then also tell us like why this book.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Lynda. And it's always a joy to create another book with you. This is the 8th book that I have created and sent out into the world. So always exciting. It's like having a new baby over and over, but luckily they don't stick around as babies. And with this book actually started with Candice Snyder, who's here in the room. Her podcast is called Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. And I was on her podcast a couple of years ago and we just got talking and I'm like, you know, this would be a perfect title for a book. And so when we got started, we started by bringing in some of the people that have been guests on her podcast. And then we started reaching out to a wider community of women around the world. And so it's really created an amazing collection of stories. And yes, each one of the women in this group, Lynda, like you said, has come through some stuff, has come out the other side. You know, life has its ups and downs, but all of these stories are so inspiring and will have so much impact in the world. So thank you for doing the publishing end and getting us out there and bringing this out into the world. And thank you all of my authors for sharing so generously and authentically with their stories. So thank you.
Awesome, Cathy. And yeah, so we're going to bring up Candice next. But before we go there, I just want to share that this is something that, you know, there are so many people out there that have a story to share. And maybe they don't want to write a whole book, but just writing one chapter. That's what I love about these collaborative books. And Cathy has a lot more books coming up, you know, in the pipeline. If you're interested in finding out more about that, go to inspiredtenacity.com. And then also Action Takers Publishing. We have other collaborative books, just such as this, that we have available. Just go to actiontakerspublishing.com. So let's bring up Candice, the one who is the inspiration behind this entire book. And Candice, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Candice Snyder, and I'm the host of the Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities podcast. I've had the podcast now for 3.5 years, and I am so honored to be able to be the inspiration behind this book. But more than that, I'm so grateful for every single woman that decided to say yes and contribute. And of course, to Cathy for encouraging this to happen, and Lynda and Sally for putting it all together. My chapter is about finding gratitude in adversity. And all I can tell you briefly is that there has been a lot of adversity in my life, many, many challenges, but coming to the other side of all that, there was the gratitude piece in every situation. And I hope that it inspires other women to see that no matter what you go through, there is always possibility on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candice. And again, thanks for bringing these women together to share their stories. What we're going to do next, we're going to go to Veronique, or V, and AKA V. We're going to go to V. Go ahead and introduce yourself. And also, I wanted to share that the title of your chapter is, let's see here. I have to go in alphabetical order.
Now it's your time to come alive.
Good. I'm glad you remember the name of it.
Yes.
Everybody remembers the name of their chapter. It makes it easier for me. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your chapter, but don't give it away because we want to wet their whistle.
Absolutely. So first of all, I want to say that I'm so beyond happy. I'm so thrilled today to announce that the book is out. It's been an adventure. And it's been a group adventure. It's going to be it has also been a personal adventure to come out with this story. While thinking about, what is the most important message that I want to share today that is not about me, but that through me can literally help other women. And so my story in my chapter is really about reinvention, inside out reinvention. And I don't want to give it away, but the crap or the stuff or whatever you want to call it was the turning point between the person I was 5 years ago and the person I am right now. And right now I have reconnected all the dots of my life in a way that gives me life. That's what I call my new definition of success. Is not a title, is not a career, is not all the numbers in your bank account. It's what I call full-fledged vitality. And it's when you're vibrant and successful in all areas of your life. And this is where my mission is right now and has been for a little while now, because I'm bringing everything I know, but most importantly, everything that I know works to help other women reinvent themselves, life to business. So that to know more about the specifics and how it happens, and I love building up the suspense here, you gotta go and read the book and the chapter. And so thank you all for participating, making it a powerful book, because life is definitely a story of passion, purpose, and being able to see, recognize, and seize the possibilities. And participating into this book was one of these possibilities for me. So thank you and good luck to us all today. Let's make it a bestseller. So
Let's
we help
do
as
it.
many people as possible.
Let's do it. Awesome. I love that. Now she's referring to this book here, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. You can get your copy by going to actiontakerspublishing.com/passion. While you're over there, you'll see free gifts from our authors. And I love that, Veronique, because it's interesting how, as you were speaking, it made me think about how a lot of us don't discover these things until a little bit later in life. And I know one of Cathy's books coming up is called Midlife Reimagined. She brings together a lot of people who are in midlife. And it is interesting how, I myself, like 51 years old, before making these discoveries and discovering vitality, like what that even meant, and living that life of vitality, thinking I had been doing it all along probably, but really the truth is that the vitality that I'm living today is different because it's in here, and so being able to live that passion and purpose that way. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thanks for sharing your story in this book. You got to go read the book to find out what she's talking about. So
Absolutely.
Nice.
And,
Yes.
and I just want to say, the transition, because you're talking about awareness and coming into that moment of awareness, it's really because we as a culture, we've made full life burnout the norm. And so this is an invitation to live life differently.
Yes. Full life burnout. Yeah. See, I totally get it. I think everybody can probably relate to that nowadays. So next up, we're going to go to Juanita. Juanita, is everything working good over there?
Yes, I'm good now.
Perfect. I'm going to spotlight you, and I'm looking for your chapter. Do you remember the name of your chapter?
Yes, it's Juanita 2.0, unlocking passion, purpose, and possibility for a legacy of impact. What is your next chapter?
Awesome. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your chapter without giving it away.
Well, my name is Juanita D'Souza. I retired a couple of years ago, and I also have a consulting business called Dynamic Solutions. And I'm the visionary behind Canadian Immigrant Professional Alliance. That's very empowered to empower immigrants to move from survivor jobs to thrive in their new fields based on the skills and experience they brought. I'm originally from Ghana. I've been in Canada for almost 35 years. And I went into leadership quite early and, with over 27 years in leadership in IT, which is male dominated. And I was seeing, or sometimes I enter a space and I feel that space is like this and they want me to fit in. And I realized, no, I need to go beyond that and be who I am. So for me, this book, I think I was one of the last people to come on it because I have given talk to women empowerment about passion, purpose, and impact. So writing this book was one of the easiest for me. It's creating a legacy of impact that requires aligning passion and purpose with commitment to empower others. So when I was working on projects, doing all this deliverable, it was great. It was all about what, but there was something missing. I felt I wasn't being appreciated enough. I felt there was something missing until I find the why. And the why was the purpose. Why am I doing it? I'm not just doing it for myself. Others who look like me will see me and go, if she can do it, I can do it. So every small act, and especially when I started coaching, young people, marginalized people, I realized the profound impact I'm having on them. So whether it's more out of encouragement or coaching contributes to a legacy of empowerment in their growth. So I found my fulfillment, and in their success, I saw the true purpose of my work. So possibilities to me are what we keep us moving forward when we see how our small art is helping others. So embracing possibility means stepping into new roles, taking risks, and challenging myself to explore uncharted territories. So rejuvenating passion, purpose, and endless possibility allows us to transform our lives, create a ripple effect, and to extend beyond us. So for me, life is a book of possibilities, and every challenge I find I've turned into opportunities. And I believe in my chapter, I want people to know that they should not fit into a box. They should create their own path. And Juanita 2.0 is a accumulation of this journey. It is testament of the power of knowing who you are, what you can do, and in the process, lifting others as you go. So I hope when people read our book, our stories of endless possibilities, they also feel it's important for them to share their story. And I want to thank this amazing woman for making this book possible. Because to me, even the videos, the interviews already, I've gotten a lot of feedback saying, wow, I'm quite inspired. So I know we're going to inspire the next generation. And thank you all for being part of this journey and this movement together of passion, purpose, and possibility.
Awesome, Juanita. Thank you so much. There was something you mentioned, impact. Like we all make impact. And the question is, are we making positive or negative impact, right? There's impact from all different ways. And what I love about this, about what you shared there, is you seeing the impact that you're making. Because I think a lot of times we don't really reflect to see what kind of impact am I making? How am I showing up? How am I helping others? Because the more we know about what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we're impacting, this encourages us to continue to do more of that. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for being the last one to jump in and to make it happen. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Started twisting. You can do it. I'm too busy. He goes, no, you can do it. You got it already. And honestly, it was one of the easiest for me to write because compared to my first book, because it's something I do and live by. So I live
Right.
by Juanita 2.0. So it was much easier for me. The words were, I could have written a whole book on that. So that's another chapter.
There we go. I love it. We'll twist your arm again. Okay. So get ready. So next up we have Brenda. And Brenda, I did find your chapter right away. So, okay, Brenda, the title of your chapter is Finding Purpose. So why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and then a little bit about your chapter?
Sure. Well, thank you, first of all, to you and Cathy and everyone else that's included in this book, because people who will open the pages to this book, each page will bring you more hope. Because if we can do it, you can do it, and you can find your passion and your purpose. And there's always possibilities, because every day is an opportunity to make a difference in the life of yourself and others. So I'm Brenda Yoho. I'm retired from education. And when you said you're going through stuff, I have more than just one thing. My life's journey has been a series of events that could have made me define myself as being a victim or, a survivor. But instead, I decide that life is going to happen to us, but it's what we do and we decide, because we determine who we are, not what events happen to us. And that's what I want to encourage our readers to understand, is that as you read the stories of these amazing women, the things that they have overcome and the things that they have went through, the resiliency that they have built, is something that we want to bring to every reader, so that you understand that, yeah, life is going to happen, but it's not always going to be the end of what you want to do and you want to achieve. I had something that happened to me that ended a career for me, which gave me another career, which is writing and sharing and loving and enjoying meeting all of these amazing people and the people who read my stuff. And Lynda, you're right in saying that we don't know the impact always that we have on others. I want to share with the women in this book and encourage them that we will never know all of the lives that we have touched, but just to know that with the courage of sharing what you have went through and what your passion is and what your message is going to touch so many that it is just priceless. So thank you all for your contributions and your friendships. I enjoyed meeting so many of you. Candice was amazing, a friend, and I enjoyed being on her podcast, and I enjoy everything that she's doing. And Cathy, you supported me always as a writer, and so I can't thank you enough. And I hope that our readers will pick up and understand that passion, purpose, and possibilities is up to you. You can do it. You have a story to share, and you matter. Thanks, Lynda.
Awesome, Brenda. Thank you so much. And it's interesting because, as you were sharing there, thinking about how, like you said, we won't know how many lives we've impacted. We never will. But sometimes there comes somebody along in our journey who tells us the impact that we had on them. And I think it's really important for us to tell others the impact that they have on our lives, because they may not know that they're making that impact. And when we understand that we are making impact in a certain area, it encourages us, motivates us, inspires us, again, to keep moving forward in whatever it is. We might be having doubts about ourselves. And then somebody says, oh, when you did XYZ, that made me inspired to keep going. That might be all they need in order to keep going. So thank you for sharing that. And speaking of impact, our next chapter, which is from Betty. Let's see, Betty, I'm going to bring you up. Go and introduce yourself. The title of your chapter is Insight, Influence, and Impact. There's that word. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Betty, and a little bit about your chapter without giving it away.
Yeah, it sounds like that is the theme amongst all of us. And I believe that, the core of this book was to really inspire the readers to find their purpose. Part of my journey has been about unlocking other people's purpose as I find mine. And this is a journey of discovery. It's not something that just lands on your lap, but it's a journey of discovery. And that is, I believe, the divine destiny of everyone. And finding purpose resonated with me because I thought this is an area where we cannot compete because everyone is so unique as their own unique thumbprint and unique impact that they're meant to create in this world. So my story is really about how I, as an executive coach, I help and come along others to help them actually really maximize on that unique identity and purpose so that they can create the ripples of impact that they require. And we all require nowadays. I believe when we think about the context that we are facing in terms of, artificial intelligence and the possibilities that it replaces a lot of, our intellectual abilities and summarizing data. There's one part that I believe that we cannot truly be scared about is because our divine purpose, our unique identity is irreplaceable. So how do we discover that and leverage it and maximize that? And this is the time. Most of, the focus and the futurists, are talking about the fear of, careers being taken away. But I believe that is a time for us to step up and flourish by truly discovering that which only us can do, that which only us can touch the world with. And I believe that is everyone's divine destiny to find that, to unleash it, and to influence their world with it. That's why my chapter is entitled Insight, getting that insight that comes from looking within and without, and then being able to influence the possibilities of others as well, not just yours, because we do live, of course, in a very pluralistic society. So always thinking about, what are you doing that creates positive influence and impact on others? And yes, it's the age of flourishing. It's not the age of fear. So it's being able to truly turn fear on its head and go after flourishing. That's what my chapter is about.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your message, your story in this book. Yeah, and I think impact is kind of a common theme when you get together with people who are doing something that is, when they're looking for making that impact, when they're looking to show up in a positive way to help other people in their lives, right? It's like, what is our result? The result is the impact that we make. And so what are we doing with that? And I think a lot of people don't start discovering that until they're much older in life. I don't know about you ladies, but during this journey of, helping people to share their stories, I found some really young people who are really tuned in, and they're noticing the impact they're making. They're making conscious decisions. That was not me for most of my life. And so I'm always inspired by them, because it helps me to have this hope that there is hope for this planet. And there are young people out there who do want to make a difference. And they want to stamp their foot on the ground and say, this is what I'm here to do. So that impact is so powerful, so powerful. So next up, we have Flory. Flory, going to spotlight you here. And the title of your chapter is Threads of a Life Woven in Resilience. Go ahead and introduce yourself and share a little bit about your chapter.
Hi, I'm Flory Stefanescu. I'm a retired doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. And first of all, I am so grateful for Cathy for creating this family. I literally feel like her dedication provided us this environment to get to know each other, to get to grow together. I'm a first-time published author, so for me, it's just dipping my toe in the writing waters. So I've written my whole life, but I've never had the courage to actually publish. So coming together with all this wonderful women and becoming part of this family has been incredible for me. What a wonderful journey. And this is not just a book. This is going to be friendship for the rest of our lives. So, and thank you, Candice, for Candy, for the inspiration and the friendship. It means a lot to me. Not to mention Lynda and Sally for giving us the benefit of the doubt and publishing the book for us. So for me, like for everybody else, life has been difficult. But I didn't know how difficult it was until I hit rock bottom and I was just existing, not even, barely. So what my chapter is about is that finding that strength that's inside all of us. Even when you think that there's nothing left, even when you think that there's only darkness and light will never come, if you dig deep inside, you will find that strength. You will find that spark of passion that will pull you out of it, will bring you up back into the world, back into the living world. And it's incredible when that happens. You start looking around and you start looking at what strength and capability you have in yourself. And it's not only the passion, that also gives you the purpose. And I believe the purpose is with us our entire lives. It's just we need to find it and we need to give it a voice. For me, purpose is service. Being a doctor of Oriental medicine, being a singer, being a dancer, violin player, an artist, this is all in service of those around me. And like you said before, you never know who you touch and how many people's lives are actually changed because you existed in their life, because you had the strength to bring out your story and impact their lives. So it's so important to remember this in everything we do, in everything we say, in every action we take, that someone is always listening and watching, and it's important how we carry ourselves. And be open to the possibilities. For me, the possibilities were AI. For me, what brought me back and gave me a new purpose was AI and AI art. And at 61, I re-envision and realign my life with what's out there and with this incredible power that is surrounding us, and it's offering us new hope for a better life. AI, I embrace it and I see the good in it. So that's what I'm writing about, my metamorphosis.
I love that, Flory. First, welcome to authorship, and sharing your message and your story. And I just wrote this down, Flourishing Flory.
Thank you.
Flourishing Flory. Well, it's interesting, as you mentioned, I was at my rock bottom, and it got me thinking, we have hit rock bottoms in different areas, and sometimes our rock bottom is lower than the other rock bottom, so that it's like, what are we hitting that's helping us to bounce back up? And it reminded me of a saying that Les Brown says, one of my absolute favorite speakers. He says, if you can look up, you can get up. So if you're going to be knocked down on your back, because you can look up, which means you can get back up. And so really thinking about, no matter how low it gets, that there's always up. There's always up. If we keep going, if we keep looking, if we keep connecting with the right people, we keep finding those people who will support us in ways that will help us to get back up. Sometimes that getting back up is just saying, I'm getting back up. Like that's what it takes, is that first step. So what are we doing to make that happen? So thank you so much, Flory, for being here and being an artist, is what I call myself, an artist. I'm never I was never into creating, visually, and AI has done that for me. So I totally get it. It's something that if you embrace it, you can see the beauty in it. So next up we have Sally. Sally, go ahead, and I'm going to spotlight you. And the title of your chapter is, I had it.
Becoming Sally, a journey.
There we go. Becoming Sally, a journey. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your chapter without giving it away.
Sure, everyone. I'm Sally Larkin Green, and in my chapter, I talk about, kind of the change that has happened to me over the last 5 years when I hit rock bottom, right? I had that rock bottom moment 5 years ago when I woke up and I realized that, I was a mess. And so I started really taking care of me. It was probably the first time in years that I had actually started, did things for me, because I was so used to just doing things for everybody else. And I think as women, that's kind of what we do. Our being and our mission in life is to make sure that our husbands and our family and our kids and everybody is taken care of, and we kind of put ourselves last. And I realized that, I needed to start putting myself first. And so becoming Sally was kind of that transformation, and finding my passion and finding my purpose, and realizing what are the possibilities. And I talk about self-care and the importance of taking care of yourself, and journaling, and getting all the gunk that's inside of you out into the world. And even if you just write it out and throw it away, just getting it outside of you is a way to heal and grow. And I talk about being a mentor, and having family and friends and community with you, and positive self-talk. And there's like so much in those little tiny habits that it may seem insignificant, but just taking time to stop and to take a breath, to sit quietly with a cup of coffee and just having gratitude. So all the little things that kind of add up, and turn each one of us into that becoming the person that we were meant to be, that God created us to be. And being somebody, and I think we talked a little bit about, the writing these for the readers, and who is reading this, and who is going through what I went through, and can benefit from reading my story, and then doing what I did, and becoming who they are. So that's kind of my chapter in a nutshell. And I appreciate everyone here sharing their stories in the book. It was so encouraging to read many of them, and to be a part of this book. I want to thank Cathy and Candice for inviting me into it. But and I know, Lynda, you wrote a chapter too. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your chapter?
Well, before I do that, why don't you introduce yourself, because you introduced your chapter. You didn't introduce yourself. Well, you found Sally. Who is she?
So I'm the president of Action Takers Publishing. I'm a writing coach, and I help people get their stories out of their heads and onto the paper, and help them heal and grow. I'm the spiritual director at my church. I do a lot of church work. I was a Sunday school teacher for over 30 years. So I come from a place of faith and purpose. And so, that's kind of who I am in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I'll go ahead and spotlight myself, which is always weird for me, but let me do it anyway. My name is Lynda Sunshine West, and I'm the founder at Action Takers Publishing. The title of my chapter in this book is Faith Over Fear. And so it's funny, Cathy, Sally just mentioned faith. And so when I was putting together this chapter. Every chapter I write in all the books has to do with fear. I broke through one fear every single day for an entire year when I was 51 years old, and that completely shifted my life. And so this aspect of tapping into faith when we're experiencing fear actually led to an acronym that I created about fear, and that is that faith erases anxious reactions. When we're experiencing fear, how do we get through that fear? Do we hightail it to the other side and run away? Or do we encounter that fear and push through it? Well, sometimes we need to tap into faith. And this is faith in ourselves. This is faith in our mentors and our coaches, those who have trailblazed that trail before us. We can reach out to them and ask for help. And then our faith in what we believe in. I'm a Christian. I do believe in God. And so I reach into my faith in God as well. And then I say, okay, I got this. I can do this. And then I go do it. And so it's really like, tapping into that faith. But one of the things that I discovered during that year of breaking through a fear every day is that the large majority of my fears, and this is the number one fear worldwide, is the fear of judgment. So if I could break through that one fear of judgment, how will my life change? And this chapter talks about my journey of going through that. So get your copy of the book and you will be able to read all the stories. We're going to come back to Cathy and Candice to talk about their chapters. But again, we're talking about this book here, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. You can get your copy of the book by going to actiontakerspublishing.com/passion. And while you're over there, there are free gifts from the authors. So go cash in on those. So next up, I'm going to bring Cathy, because I forgot to have you guys introduce your chapter while you were up here. Cathy, I'm going to spotlight you. And the title of your chapter is Stepping into New Possibilities with Passion. So go ahead and tell us a little about your chapter without giving it away.
Sure. And a lot of what I love to focus on, as Lynda mentioned, is really around midlife women and how, we've kind of been taught that after 50, we're old and obsolete and nobody really needs to hear from us, or, we're done. And my big mission in life is to change that, to get women to see that we are just starting. Like, we have to plan to live into our 90s or our hundreds. So in our 50s and 60s, we've got a whole lifetime really to do something completely different and to figure out what is it that excites us? What are we passionate about? And, step out of what our culture has been telling us and acknowledge that we now have the wisdom and the experience and the community to really take on any challenge that we decide to, and really, bringing us together in community and really sharing our wisdom and how we support each other, I think is really what's going to help midlife women to step into these bigger things, that we're not alone. We're not crazy. We're just, we're doing big things. And so that is really what I focus on.
Awesome, Cathy. And again, as always, thanks for bringing this concept to us and, trusting us with your work. Being the 8th book, I think we've got a good track record going here. We're approaching 10, which is double digits. And so actually, I think 10, 11 or 12 or something that you're getting ready to work with you on. So that's fantastic. So next up, I'm going to bring up Candice to talk about her chapter. You touched on it a little bit, Candice, but not really in relation to your chapter. It was more like in your introduction. And the title of your chapter is Finding Gratitude in Adversity.
Yes. So without giving the story away, there's been several life-changing events that caused me to have to figure out what my purpose was or is. And through all that, I was able to see, looking back, how each incident brought me to what was next through gratitude. One of the things I will say that might be like, you want to go read this chapter, is that I talk about manifestation in a sense that be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I want people to go read that part. But really, writing this was very therapeutic. And if, if nothing else, it was another way for me to see and feel like I'm on the right path. I know what my passion and my purpose is, and I am open to the wonder of possibility, which is part of the tagline of the podcast. So, I mean, all of our stories are just really super inspiring, and I want everybody to go read every single one of them, because you will look at your own life in a different light.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And you got to read the book to find out what the heck she's talking about. That's the idea here, right? So go out and get the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/passion and read these stories. They truly are inspiring. What I want to do next is I'm going to have each of you share one of the words. You just pick one. You get to pick passion, purpose, or possibilities. And I want you to tell us like what that particular word means to you. So if anybody wants to start, raise your hand. If not, I'm going to do what I always do, and that's call on Sally, because I always let's go to Sally first. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So pick one of those words and then tell us like what that word means to you. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to call you. I'm going to start with Sally. And Sally, and I'm not going to spotlight everybody. I'm just going to keep y'all right here. So Sally, you're first.
I'm going to choose purpose. And the thing that I want to say about that is that I've discovered that over the years, your purpose changes. And I think that we think that our purpose is one thing, and that we have to go after that. But I think as we live life and as we experience things, or the purpose that I thought was my purpose 5 years ago was not my purpose today. The purpose that I thought when I was in my 20s where I was going is not where I am today. It's totally different, and it shifts for everybody. I think it just constantly. So you go after that thing, and the fun and what makes life exciting is the shifting of the purpose and going after it. So I think that that purpose is my word.
I love that. Yeah, purpose is fluid, right? And as we discover more, we meet more people, we go down different paths, we learn more, and we learn more about ourselves. And I think at each purpose, like it piles onto the next, onto the next, on the next. And I believe that once we discover our purpose, it's our job and duty to live the rest of our life on purpose rather than on accident. And so this is what I live by, is like, having purpose, it helps us to make it through those tough days, because there are tough days, no matter how positive and motivational you are, there are tough days. And so it's really to help you to make it through those days. So I'm going to go as I see you on my screen. And so Cathy, which word are you going to choose, and tell us why?
I will choose possibilities. Because like I said, that is the whole focus of everything I do, is to help middle-aged women see the possibilities that are right in front of us.
Awesome. Short and to the point. I love it. Next up, Brenda, choose one of the words. Like, you guys can double up on the words, obviously, because there's only 3 words you have to choose from. So which word do you choose, Brenda?
I think it's so hard to pick just one, but because I think they all relate to each other. But I'm also faith-based. And so I'm going to go with Sally with purpose, because I do believe that we all have a purpose in life. And I agree with what you said, Lynda, is that with purpose, that gives us a reason to wake up every day, because we know that we have something we need to accomplish. And I think it is instilled in us. But I also believe, as Sally said, purpose changes. And so I think it happens because of what happens to us in life. And so I really think purpose finds you. You don't find purpose, it finds you, because your life directs you on a path in which things happen to us. And if we look at them as opportunities that help change and guide us to what our purpose truly is. And I think my purpose has always been to serve others. That's what I've always done. And I think that we made a reference to that in what we think. Sally, you said that women always take care of, we want to take care of everybody else, and we keep our things for last. I think that's very true in all of us, that we do want to help other people. And that's why we chose to be part of this book, is because we want to help others and we want to help them understand that they do have a purpose. And don't worry about, you have to be able to recite it and say, this is what my purpose is. It will find you, and you're living your purpose every day that you get up and you're making a difference in your life and the lives of others. That's your purpose. That's what you're doing. You're influencing other people by what you say and what you do. Because if you just smile at someone, you may not know, but that could have changed their entire outlook on the day. If you said, hey, hi, how are you? It changes their outlook on the entire day because you saw them and they felt like that they were someone that day in that moment. So purpose is important. I think that should be our lead always. So
Yeah,
that's it.
such a great message. Yeah, and the title of your chapter was Finding Purpose. So that, well, I'm glad you chose that word because it's with your chapter title. Yeah, it's so true, right? Because our purpose finds us, and sometimes we're not ready for it. There's that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So it's really kind of the same thing. Is like when the person is ready, the purpose will appear. The purpose was already there, but you just weren't ready. You didn't have your eyes open to see it. And so finding that purpose is, sometimes we go looking for it, but oftentimes we find it when it's like when we're open to it, but it's already there. It's already there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that everybody's going to be able to share, a little bit more about what their purpose is. And in my chapter, I share a little bit about my life, and I am, obviously education is the center of it. But really, we only need 2 rules to live our lives. And you'll have to read the chapter to be able to see what those 2 rules are. But if we just live by those 2 rules, we will be perfect. And we will always have passion, purpose, and possibilities if we just have those 2 rules.
Yeah, it's like from that book. What was the name of that book? Everything I needed to know in life I learned in kindergarten. Like be nice, be kind, and share, or something like that. So next up, Betty. Betty, what word are you choosing today to share?
I'm going to share potential because I think that we were born with infinite potential. So with the foundation of passion and purpose, I believe that our job is to continue unleashing the potential that is within us. And oftentimes we need the support of others because we cannot see the potential that we have in ourselves. And we have to keep putting ourselves in situations that stretch us so that we can continue expanding the infinite potential that we were created to unleash.
Infinite. Oh my God, that's a great word. That'll be my word for 2026. Thanks for bringing that one up. Next up, Candice, what's your word?
I'm going to go with possibilities. And the reason I'm going to say that is because maybe a few years ago, I always was in the worry of what was happening next, right? I had to be in control of everything. When you try to be in control of everything, you're not open to the possibilities. When you let go and you be in the wonder, all the possibilities open up. So I think that possibilities is going to be my word.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, just being open. That is such a huge thing. And I think a lot of us go through life, like closed to different possibilities because we have that vision of what's to come. I know, like sometimes I've heard people ask, what's your goal in the next 5 years? And I ask myself, why would I limit myself to what I could possibly think today? Because I don't know who I'm going to meet tomorrow. What possibilities are up there? Like, who am I going to meet? What door is going to be open that I didn't even know was there? So it's like really being open to those possibilities. So good. Thank you for sharing that. Next up, Juanita, what is your word? Oh, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, my word will be purpose. Because for me, passion alone at a point could not sustain me as I progressed through my career, especially when feeling undervalued. And I found that missing piece to be purpose. When I discovered purpose, I realized that now it's not what I'm doing. Why? My actions. So it really transformed the way I worked, the way I think. It was really a mind shift for me. And even the way I looked at people around me, my colleagues, my stakeholders, individuals, and the lives I've touched. So in my leadership roles, I realized that achieving goals, producing deliverables, getting work done, getting results was great. That was my passion. But what does that mean? Why am I doing it? Became a mind shift for me. That changed everything. And now I wasn't looking at the work I'm doing. I don't care about what people are saying because I'm doing it for another reason that you can't even put dollars or cents to it, right? So why does this matter? And how can it make a difference? Became a purpose because what we do could be our passion. I love my job. I do it. It's my passion. And then at a point you feel so undervalued. You feel you're creating all this, but you're not seeing anything. And then the why, which became my missing link, was the purpose. I'm doing it not just for what it was meant for, but for other things. As most of you said, you are a person of faith. I'm a person of faith too. And I believe that, God brought us to this earth to also leave some legacy and impact and uplift others. And in our work, we have to be intentional and be very purposeful in terms of what we do and how it's going to help the world, help the next person, or make space for the next person as well. So for me, purpose is basically my word for after I found passion. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love how you tied them all together, because they do, that's, Candice, the brilliance behind the podcast, right, is that they do all tie together. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Next up, Flory, flourishing Flory, what word do you choose?
Passion. I've been told so many times, you light up when you talk about whatever I'm talking about. And for me, that light is inside me, but passion is also my guiding light. I find that if I do anything with passion, if I do anything I have passion for, I can do anything, because that gives you the power, the strength, that gives you the knowledge and the wisdom. It's all inside. You don't depend on anybody else. You don't depend on what anybody says or does, because the passion is in you and nobody can take that from you. So I truly believe that passion is what drives us. That's my word.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that, as you were speaking, it kind of made me think about Think and Grow Rich. In the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of the chapters there is titled The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, which really is all about passion. I remember when I first read it, maybe the first 10 times I read it, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And then I heard a speaker speak. I went to the Think and Grow Rich movie. It was like a thing that they were doing there. They're showing all the premiere of the movie. And one of the persons in the movie talked about that chapter. And I finally understood it. And what it really means is it's all about passion and finding what we're passionate about, and using that emotion, that feeling of passion, and using it, serving it for good, moving it to a place where it's going to move us forward, where we can take that energy, because really the whole chapter, the meaning of the chapter is about the energy that we have, that we carry. It's not about sex itself. See, that's where I missed it. When I first read it, the first 10 times, I was looking for the sex part of it. Not that I want, but what I'm saying is I was looking for, like, what did he mean? What did he mean about sex? But it wasn't about sex at all. It was about the energy that we have related to our passions and how we can move forward, and we can achieve that success that we want when we can tap into that energy that we have, which is our passion. So our passion is a fuel for us to achieve those results, to get those possibilities, to find those possibilities, to move in possibility. Our passion is what helps us to find our purpose, for our purpose to find us, for us to live that life of purpose, having passion is that driving force. It's that energy behind it. So my word is passion. That was my long way of saying my word is passion.
I need to say
So,
something about this really
yes.
short. As women, we were taught to suppress our passion because passion was always connected to sex. And that kills the light inside you. That bottles everything inside and we don't let it out. And I think this is the age. This is time for us to realize that passion has to be expressed. It's a form of energy exchange. You bring out your passion, you make everything around you move. So that was my short comment.
Thank you for sharing that. So again, we're here with the authors, some of the authors in Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. You can get your copy of the book plus free gifts from our authors by going to actiontakerspublishing.com/passion. Go get the book, get those free gifts, and find your passion so that you can live your life on purpose and be open to all the possibilities that are out there waiting for you. Again, my name is Lynda Sunshine West. I'm the founder at Action Takers Publishing. We love helping women like this, men like this, to share their stories with the world to make a greater impact on the planet. So if you're interested in learning more about that, how you can share your story, your message, go to actiontakerspublishing.com. Also, go to inspiredtenacity.com. Cathy Dirksen has a lot of books, opportunities for you out there for you to share your message, to get your message into the world, to make a greater impact on the planet. I want to thank you all for being here, for sharing your message, for participating in this book and getting your stories out there. For those of you that this is your first book, I'd like Sally to unmute herself, because Sally, I want you to say your saying that you have about your first collaboration book.
I always say that being in a collaboration book is like opening a bag of potato chips. You can't stop at just one. So,
get ready for the ride. Get ready for the ride.
I mean, I started with my first one in 2020, and I think this is like my 24th. So, I really enjoy the writing part, getting my story out there, and I think that it's much needed in today's society.
Yeah, definitely. And you all are taking part in that. So Cathy, I saw you unmuted yourself. Want to speak to that?
Well, I just want to agree with Sally that yes, this is my 21st book of all the books I've been in, and that's only since 2019. So I agree. Once you do one, it just kind of gets you started and you feel like, okay, and now I've got more to tell, and I've got another theme to work on and another community to step into. And so I completely agree.
Yes, and I will third that, because I was never a writer, never a reader, not interested in either of those. I was invited to be in a collaborative book back in 2015, and I said yes because it was an opportunity that I saw in front of me. And that first book, actually, I didn't have to write anything. There was a ghostwriter who wrote the entire book. And so I was like, oh, good, I don't have to write. I'm in, And now here we are 45 or 46 books later, and I'm sharing my story on a consistent basis. And I love doing it. I am hooked. I am hooked on this. And so it really was that first, like Candice mentioned about that first possibility, that it was, a possibility and opportunity that showed itself. And I said yes to it. And look what has unfolded since then. And you just don't know what's going to happen. So, get yourself out there, get your message out there. There's somebody who needs to hear it. You just don't know who it is. You might think your story doesn't have any value, but I'm here to tell you that it does. It does. We don't have to be Olympic athletes or movie stars in order to have a story that is impactful. I'm going to share this one just briefly. One of our authors, she was her words, not mine, just a housewife. And she decided to join one of the collaboration books. And then she started speaking on stages, getting podcast appearances, not realizing how powerful her story is, because as just a housewife, that was nothing to her, but not realizing how powerful it is for other people. So get out there, get this book, be inspired to share your story, just like these ladies have done. And get out there and make your story heard, because people are waiting to hear it. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Truly appreciate you. and keep going out there and sharing your story. You have many, many aspects of your life, your journey that would fit into different collaborative books. I know Cathy has a lot of opportunities, as so do we. So go check it out and see how you can share more of your story, your message, to make a greater impact on the planet. Thanks for being here.